Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. So I know it's been a long time since I've put anything out. The short of that is, well, I was on deployment, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It has been crazy, and I know we've been back for a couple weeks, and I haven't got any podcast put out. Time management. Time management's been a big thing. Plus, just coming back off deployment, I was tired, I was wore out. I was trying to declutter my brain and just kind of get back to the swing of things here at home. It's, I don't even know how to explain. We didn't need any ports, so coming back after being on the ship and it's like go go go, and you're kind of stuck in this one environment. You come back home, it's a whole new world, and you have to readjust. So we'll kind of roll back a little bit. I want to talk about a few things, kind of talk about where the podcast is at, what the plans are, kind of what we want to do, and hope you enjoy this episode. So starting off, I want to talk about us taking off. So we left in January. We went on Com2X. We went out. We were getting validated and all that good stuff, and then they're like, "All right, yep, we're just going to roll out. We're not going to pull back in." So there were people on the boat that, they had planned on, oh, yeah, I'm going to leave this at home. This is a lot of stuff. I don't want to have to bring all this on right now. I'm going to make one trip to the boat and I'm going to be good to go. So a lot of people ended up leaving their stuff on the shore. So lesson number one would be take all your stuff with you. It's better to overpack than underpack. Now, granted, it depends on your work center where you have space to store stuff, because you only have limited space in your rack, so on and so forth, right? But bring what you can, and if you need to, you can always ship stuff out. And at the end of the day, you can always get somebody to send something out to you, but it's going to take longer. Now, once you realize you're going out and you're taking all your stuff with you, and you have everything set up, then it's just a matter of time before you realize what you're going to run out of. What I recommend for everybody, and you want to kind of do this under the radar, is if your ship doesn't sell tobacco, especially smokeless tobacco, so if they don't sell dip, stock up on dip and take it with you. I'm telling you, because 2 or 3 months in, when people run out, you're going to be stocked up and you're going to be able to sell that at a profit. I sold a log for, what was it? It was math. Public math is difficult. I'm trying to remember. Anyways, but stock up on all that you can. I saw it was $175. That's what I sold it for. One roll. Insanity. So stock up on that. I know a guy that sold a carton of Newports for, I think, like $200-300. It's crazy. So anything like that that's going to be a need, stock up on it. All right. Another thing that you can do that a lot of people did on this, and I really wish I would have got into this earlier, which I will tell you guys, I'm in the process of kind of designing something now. Coins, patches, stickers, anything like that. If you have any kind of talent, you know what? You don't even have to be talented. You can pull some images from online, throw it together for something that you want, and then type out exactly what you want and send it to a coin company, and they will make it for you. They'll send you a design and say, okay, is this what you were wanting? Certain companies have different policies on how many times they'll redo their design. But make a design, send it to them. They'll come back and you can say, yep, I want this many coins. And let me tell you, there were people that made thousands of dollars from selling coins while on deployment. And there were some really cool designs. I actually picked a couple up myself. I'm not real big on buying coins. I prefer them to be given to me. But there was some that I couldn't get away from. I had to have those. And I may post those up on Facebook. So be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. That'll be a good place to see that kind of stuff. Check into that, because I'm telling you, insanity. You can get all the the memes or the inside jokes, if you will, if that's what you want to call it, while you're out there, and you can make a coin or patch or something based off of that, and then you can sell it on the ship. I'm telling you, do it. So that kind of covers that, making sure you have everything you need. Get into some entrepreneuring ideas, From there, man, it's just a matter of getting into your routine, and making sure you're talking to people back home. Life's a struggle on the ship, especially now with this Corona stuff going on. So we were very different, right? They called us the iron deployment. We are when we crossed the line, we weren't just shellbacks, we were iron shellbacks because we hit no ports. We were out for 7 months and didn't hit a single port. I mean, we broke the record, and they're submitting a special ribbon just for us so that we can have something to recognize that. Now, I'm not saying that we go into all that. Some of that's a little excessive, but it was really hard on us. It was hard on the crew, and that has the chance to happen, right? So the Navy has provisions where if you're out for over 200, and I don't remember the exact number, but it's like 200 and I don't know, we'll say 30 for this, 230 days, they start giving you extra pay. Now that didn't happen to us, but excuse me, that didn't happen to us, but that provision is there in case that happens. So there's always that potential. Now, if you're on a small boy, chances are it's not going to happen because you have to have fuel, you have to do all these things. You're much smaller than a carrier. And I will say that most of the small boys did hit port while we were out. Now, were they able to get off the ship? Were they able to do anything? I don't actually know. But I know that they hit ports and did stock ups and things like that. Point being, there's a chance you're going to be out there for a while. And for us, it was really hard on some of the crew. So you want to keep your spirits up, find things, take some time, get out in the sunlight, talk to people, do some of the activities that are on board the ship, things like that. And make sure you're talking to your family. There's no substitute for that. You're going to miss your family and it's going to be rough, but you can get through it. And, a lot of people got through it. A lot of people didn't. I'm saying they're the family aspect didn't necessarily make it through for everybody, but that happens in the military, and it's hard and it sucks to say, but it is what it is. If you think that your life, your family, things like that are not going to make it, then that's something that you may have to consider when it comes to military life. Maybe you need to get out and move on and do something different. So the other thing that really affected us and that we're now having to adjust to is we came back and, we didn't know Corona life. We didn't know how all this COVID shit was affecting the world. We had some things on board, but when it first hit, we had no idea. We didn't know if what the news was telling us was really crazy overboard. We were getting limited information from our families. Just all of that information in general was limited. I mean, even our internet, you have, most of the time you have internet hours. And even then, when you do have your hour, maybe you're working and you miss your hour. Maybe maybe it's during your chow time, or maybe, 9 times out of 10, the internet just fucking sucked. So you couldn't really get on. The information was limited, and we didn't know what the hell was going on. So we were kind of freaking out, worried about our families back home. But then again, a lot of people were like, oh, well, it's not that bad. It's just the media. They're making it out to be crazy because, we all know that's what the media does. So that was a struggle for us. And now that we're back, we're readjusting to life and having to figure all this stuff out. And it's weird for us. I mean, the people that were here, they dealt with this basically the whole time we were out there. And then we're like when everything first started, except it wasn't a gradual phase for us. It was get back and then boom, here it is. Whereas here in the States, it was kind of a gradual thing. Like, yeah, it hit really heavy, but all the policies and things that came into place were kind of gradual. And so people were able to adjust. We're just like, bam, here you go. Make sure you wear a mask all the time. Make sure you're, doing this and doing that and blah, 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 blah. You can't go get tattoos. You can't go get a haircut out off base. You can't go this, that, and the other. And there's people still doing it. There's people going out to parties and, they're having fucking COVID parties. How stupid can you be? I understand that, it's mainly affecting people that have underlying conditions. They have, elderly people or people with compromised immune systems, things like that. But what if you don't know? What if you don't know you have, I don't know, a heart murmur or some other crazy thing, and then you go to this fucking, this COVID party, and next thing you know, you're pretty much on your deathbed. Like, that to me just doesn't make any sense. So please, 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 if you are considering doing something like that, please don't do it. Think about your shipmates, think about your family, right? On the ship, that shit spreads like wildfire. And it also makes medical and MA's lives harder because we're standing out there. We're the people that is having to check all the IDs and coming in contact with every single person that comes through there. So that's, that that is not something that we want to get and take home to our families. So listen to your chain of command. If you think you're having symptoms, reach out to medical and take care of it. And please don't go to these fucking COVID parties. So moving on from there, deployment. It's it was weird. Not hitting any ports. You imagine cabin fever. You get bored at home, and home you have TV, you have Xbox, you have PlayStation, you've got your computer, you've got the internet, you've got board games, card games, music, booze. I mean, whatever you choose to do to fucking pass your time, you have access to it. On the ship, it was literally work, eat, sleep, repeat. That was your life. At least that was my life. And cabin fever was heavy. I mean, you just get tired of seeing the same things. I think there was some effect on me because I didn't spend enough time. I didn't take enough time out of my day to go to the hangar bay or to go to the flight deck or or get out on the catwalk or something where there's more sunlight. And let me tell you, my skin fucking shows it. Yeah, if your walls are painted white, I'm probably that color. It's bad. I had to get a new ID, and after I looked at my picture, I was like, "Holy shit, that's what I look like." I mean, I was white to begin with, but fuck, I look almost clear. So if you do have to go out, take some time, get out in the sunlight. It's good for your mental health. It's good for you. Mental health played a big part for us, being out there stuck for so long. And then, the day-to-day routine. The routine helps, right? So if you have a set routine and kind of doing the same thing all the time, you get used to it and the monotony and like it just flows. And you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. Boom, 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 right? But still, there are those times when you have downtime. If you don't keep the mind busy, the mind it begins to wander, and you think about, I miss home or blah 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 blah. It could be anything. I remember one night I was laying in my bed and I laid in my rack, and I watched the Family Man with Nick Cage, and I watched that movie, and that's when it hit me hard that I really missed home and I missed my family, and that was hard to recover from. Just like it can be something out of nowhere like that, and I mean it's hard to explain because you kind of have to experience. You have to be out there and be away from everything. I mean, you have limited human contact, and you're not doing your daily life, the normal things that you do if you're home, and it's just kind of hard. So things like that will hit you, and you can spiral. You can spiral and go way downhill. We had people that were being sent to mental health and having to go through, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you need help, go get help. But it's rough. It's rough out there. And everybody experiences deployment differently and how to handle things. And I think that I can only provide a limited scope because I wasn't on the traditional deployment. We were out there for so long and never hitting any ports that my experience is going to be way different from what a typical deployment is. And even moving forward now, the people that relieved us, they're starting to set up. I don't want to call them safe havens, but I think that's kind of what they are, right? So it's very specific ports that they can hit when they've been out for so long. What that does is that gives them the opportunity to hit these ports and get away from the ship and kind of reset themselves and reset their mind and get away, take some time off work. And that was probably my biggest thing because for the first, I don't know, 4 months, I didn't get holiday routine. Our holiday routine was, okay, you get to sleep in for 2 hours and then come in and go to work. And then finally one day, I don't know what happened. Our chief, he stopped and he was like, "Hey, from now on, you guys are gonna get holiday routine." And he broke it down and changed the way we were running things. But for the longest time, every day, and it's different from from aircraft carrier to small boy to, whatever ship you're working on. And some of you will be like, "Oh, look at this little pansy. I worked 7 days, bro, all day, all the time on. But everybody's different, and the work experience is different, and kind of the aspect and the way things are seen, right? So if you're in a critical job, if you're in a job and there's absolutely no way you can take a break, I feel like some people can mentally prepare that. They can be like, okay, cool, this is my job. I have to do this. It is what it is, right? But when you have the opportunity and you can see the opportunity, like, hey, I'm really not doing anything. Why can't I have a break? Why can't I take a day off? Why can't I, sleep in? Or why can't we rotate through all the people in my shop? Each day someone else or two people or whatever gets that day. When that opportunity is there, I think that weighs heavier on the mind because you can see it and you're like, there's no reason for us to be here. If that opportunity isn't there, I feel like that's a different story. And most people, yes, it will still be draining, but it just is what it is, and you got to work through it. So I think there's a big difference there. I've kind of gotten way off track, and I don't really remember what I was talking about. All right. So deployment, we had our ups and downs. There were some good times and bad times. We had several beer days. And I actually did not partake at all. I did not have one beer. I'm not a beer guy. I'm a whiskey guy. Plus, I was on a weird schedule, and they either had the beer way early in the morning or way late in the evening. And I was like, listen, if I'm actually going to get this day off for this beer day shit, I'm just going to sleep all fucking day. And most of the time, that's what I did. And I would wake up past the allotted time for beer. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. I don't really care. Not to mention, I think you got 5,000 fucking people on that boat. If 75% of them are off to go do this, the lines were insane. I was like, nope, I'm not standing on that fucking flat deck in the heat to get 2 beers. That ain't going to do shit for me. But I know a lot of people did, and a lot of people got more than 2 beers. We we had one person get drunk and go piss on somebody's rack. That is not a joke. That actually happened, and I think it was a more senior person. But that's, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about shit like that happening, right? The way the way that things are out there, it just kind of blows my mind. But so yeah, we had I think we had what, 3 beer days? I don't know. It was like 3 or 4. But I did not partake. Actually, some of the time we had to stand watch for them, which was, it kind of sucked. Standing out there watching everybody have fun. So we had our beer days. We did have a, what do they call it? A Liberty at Sea or Port at Sea or whatever you want to call it. And we did have like 3 days off where we were, I guess, considered, ported. And people still had duty and things like that because obviously the ship has to still run. But it was nice. We got to wear civilian clothes and hang out. Most of the time we would still come into work and kind of, pitter around because what the hell else are you going to do? There, it's work and whatever small MWR event is going on. If you don't want to do any of the MWR shit, you go hang out in the office, get on the computer, talk to your family, shit like that. Or you could lay in your rack. And one day I did. I just spent all day in my rack. I took my fucking laptop, hooked up my hard drive, and I watched so many movies. So you kind of gotta make the best of what you got. What else is there? Deployments. We did all that. We had those times too where we had like transits and things like that were really shitty, or you have the middle of the night GQ or things like that. And it's just kind of part of it. But the shellback ceremony was amazing. Never experienced anything like that before, and I can't imagine ever experiencing anything like that again. And it's so cool to be able to have done that. For those of you that don't know, a shellback ceremony is when you cross the equator. I mean, you can read up on all about that. There's all kind of tales and things that goes along with it, but it's really cool. And there's different things you can do. And it used to be a lot of hazing, and we've gotten really far from that. And I think honestly, the tradition of the way things were, I think we need to pull back a little bit because we're so conscious about hazing and doing anything that would upset somebody that we've gone away from some of our traditions. Now, I'm not saying that everything everything was entirely kosher, but I mean, part of that is the fun of it, right? Even today, even now, with the minimal shit that you do, you still have the option. You can opt out. You don't have to do the ceremony, but if you're going to give somebody the option, then why not continue on with how it used to be? Now, I'm not saying that fucking eating the apple out of the fat man's belly or whatever all that nonsense was. Like, I don't. Okay, cool. I get. Take that one out. That's a little bit much. But I mean, where you had to like crawl through trash or where they, just any weird things. Why not leave it in? If it's not going to hurt somebody and you're not physically touching somebody or belittling them in a severe way, why not do it? You're giving people the option. If people have the option and they want to do it, then how is that hazing? That was their choice. Like I said, there are some caveats. There are some things that just absolutely can't be included in that. You can't opt in for hazing when it comes to things like, getting hands laid on you or doing anything sexual or things like that. Like that, yeah, that would be too far. But I digress. What else? What else? I don't know. It was rough. And I guess we'll move on from deployment and we'll revisit that in a later podcast. For now, let's kind of talk about where the podcast is at. So my plan was, while I was out, I had this big plan. I was like, all right, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to record some podcasts. And when we hit port, I'll upload the podcast and I'll be ready to go. And every time we hit a new port, I'll have planned to have a new podcast recorded and then I'll post it up. Well, obviously that did not happen. Corona, no ports, all that. It was rough. So I ended up only recording one podcast while I was out there. It was with an MC. It was an MC1, and we kind of talked about his experience. So look forward to that episode coming up. It'll be another episode for the Choose Your Rate, Choose Your Fate series. But it was pretty good. It was talk to him and like his experience. He's Filipino, and we talked about a lot of that. But that was the only one that I was able to record. I just I didn't have the time. My day was spent working, and whereas most of the ship they didn't have a 12-hour day or longer, right? But every day for me was a 12-hour day, and so on those days off, I was still doing things. I was still trying to find time to get caught up on my work or actually take my downtime. So I never really had time, and I really regret that. I did upgrade my equipment, so I've got a new board to record with. I got a new microphone, and I'm really happy about it. And this is going to be the first podcast with this. The one I recorded underway, I did have the board, and I don't know how much of a difference the board would make, but the microphone that I got now, I had it, but I didn't have the hookup for it. So I used a USB and then a microphone that they had as well. So this is the first one with the new setup, and I'm excited to hear how it turns out, even though it is just me talking. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna have to start busting out some content. I've got a few people that said they would be interested in coming on. I've got a buddy that I would like to get with him and kind of talk about how things were when it came to deployment, and actually kind of write out an episode and really talk about some of the key points. And it'll be good to go back and forth with somebody so we can talk about the different things that happen. And if you're interested and you have questions about deployment or anything like that, please Twitter, Facebook, email, reach out to me and let me know what kind of questions you have about the deployment and what it was like, and whatever you can think of. Please reach out so that way when I do that episode, I can address those questions. And if I can, I can possibly address them right there on the spot if you reach out to me on Facebook or maybe email or whatever. So yeah, I've got a few things lined up that I would like to talk about, but I'm still lost in the sauce when it comes to all the stuff going on with Corona and the presidential election coming up and just politics and anything that's going on in the world. It's kind of hard. We're so behind the curve, and I haven't really taken any time to look up on that. I'm just kind of try to let my brain relax. Honestly, I've been vegging out. I've been on YouTube, Netflix, all of that stuff, getting caught up and just like letting my brain float away. Like I was on the computer the other day and I looked at my watch and it was like, I don't know, 11 o'clock. And then next time I looked at my watch, it was 1500. I was like, whoa, what the hell happened to the day? And, just zoning out. But I'm going to try to look more into that kind of stuff and bring you some updates. My goal for this channel has always been to reach out to other branches. So obviously I want to do Navy, right? Navy's what I know. Navy's what I've been doing for 11 years and that's kind of where I'm at. But this is the enlisted point of view. This isn't the Navy point of view. This is the enlisted point of view. I would really love someone from each branch. And if you know somebody that's really interested in podcasting or that, they've been like, oh man, I really want to start a podcast, something like that, have them reach out. I would love to have an episode. I would really love to have an episode every week. And I would love to have one Navy, one Marine, one Air Force, one Army, one Coast Guard, so on and so forth, right? And I would love to see all the different experiences. I would love to have us even come together as one and maybe do a group episode one day. But that's always been my goal because, like I said from the beginning, you don't see the viewpoint of these other of really any branch from the everyday day-to-day life of an enlisted person. It's usually retired people or people doing special forces or things like that, and I want people to have the opportunity to know what each of us do and what our life is actually like. Which on deployment, I got for the Navy, I got my first real Navy experience, and I see the disparaging difference between officers and enlisted, even like chief and enlisted, and it really blows my mind. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed and kind of aggravated. But that's for another episode. So if you do know someone in another branch that is interested in doing a podcast and they have some good content ideas, please have them reach out. I will help them get started, and I'll be a partner with Enlisted Point of View. Be my partner. So if you know somebody that's interested, have them reach out. I'd love to help them get out and be a partner with me. That right now this is just a fun thing that I do, something that I love and something that I enjoy. And if they love and enjoy it too, well then, if they're willing, I would love to have them come on. All right. So where we're at right now, like I said, I got one episode that I've got to finish editing and then to get it posted up. I've got this episode, which is just kind of a general update, and then we'll go from there. I will be transferring at the end of the year. I'll be going to a new command, which would possibly give me some more opportunity to reach out. I would like to reach out to some individuals from around the globe, wherever you're at, and have a guest on the podcast. I'm willing to talk about anything and everything, as long as it has to do with the Navy or military in general. Even if it's just like talking about the world today and how that reflects with us. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of rambling. I didn't script this episode. I'm just kind of talking out my ass right now. So moving forward, I'm gonna try to do at least one episode every month. Actually, I'm not going to try. I will do one episode a month at minimum. And then the goal will be 2 episodes a month. And then if I can bring people on that will do the podcast, then I plan to have them do an episode. So one week will be a Navy episode, one week will be another branch. And that's what I would love to do. From there, I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I really... I've really just been slacking, and now that I'm off the ship and I'm pretty much done with the ship, I should have more time to be able to sit down and do this and do other things. So that is it, I think. I mean, this is 30 minutes. I don't really see much else going into this. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have content ideas, if you want to come on the episode, anything and everything you can think of, if you just want to reach out and tell me, hey, you suck, shut the hell up, that's okay too. Just reach out to me. Let me know your thoughts. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can also find us. You can reach out to us on email. So give us a like, give us a share, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.